6:35, we can call this meeting to order. The public comment, Don, you're going to have to come up for public comment because we don't have you agended.
All right, so you want to come up now?
Yeah, if you could do that now, I think that's probably the best timing for it.
There's a pen.
That's it, Cindy.
Huh?
That's
Know the
it.
drill.
That's it?
Yeah, you guys have given it. You put them all out.
Oh, I thought you ordered more.
No, we have 500 of each, right? 500 of each.
I'm not getting any more, you mean?
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Do you want the minutes?
I trust you. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thanks for letting me speak. I had indicated to Cindy that I was hoping to get an update on what was going on with the last meeting that I attended, which was on March 5th. And I couldn't make the meeting you folks had after that. I was out of town. What I surmise, based on talking in emails with Cindy and talking with you this evening, Gage, it appears that there's been no communication with Eversource.
No.
Okay.
Regarding this project, we've had a couple quick phone calls of, well, we'll get back to us, but I had actually just had another phone call the other day of some other cutting they want to do here in the summer, so I've got a new person to contact. But
One of the contacts I provided to Cindy was, I think, a key individual, Matt Flanders.
yes.
He's the name I was given by Chris Edgar, the site supervisor that I met on February 12th. And he's the one that Chris said if there's any issues, contact
Yep.
Matt Flanders. And I mean, I'm willing to take the ball with this if you don't. So let me know.
Yep, we will.
One of the concerns I have also is with regard to, as I mentioned, the communication with Eversource and what's going on. Has anybody had the opportunity, I know, Matt, you've been there, so you recognize what I'm talking about. Has anybody else had the opportunity to see the unpaved road that was put in under the power lines from Natticook Road?
From Natticook Road, yeah.
You
Yeah, I
went
did,
out
yes.
there as well?
Yeah.
Tim, did you get a chance
I've seen it from Natticook Road.
from the road?
I've not actually
So at
ventured
least
in.
you know what I'm talking about in that regard.
It's substantial.
What's happened since the last meeting is they started the project, and then a couple nor'easters came in, and the trucks were snowbound, so they stopped doing the work. And then at some point, a decision was made by somebody to get the vehicles, the cranes, out of there. That happened sometime before March 21st, because on March 21st, that unpaved road was plowed. Plowed by, I assume, an Eversource contracted individual. Sometime after March 21st, the cranes, the utility vehicles that were parked there, with Missouri plates, and they were part of the subcontracting crew that was redoing or changing out those poles, left. Now I don't know what is going to happen at this point. Is the job been delayed? Are there issues that have come up? Did I touch a nerve with the soil and wildlife person that I met there? Again, these are all questions that I have, but we have no knowledge of what the plan is. From what I can see, again, I'm just touching on the three things I brought up at the last meeting. The communication, I think, is still in need of being worked on. Two, they've got some knee-high orange cones at the entry from Natticook Road onto the unpaved road. And there's a little sign, probably this size, that says danger, do not enter, something to that effect. One of the cones was down, and it was the sign that was in the cone, maybe from the wind knocking it down. I put it back up when I went for a walk on Saturday. There's no evidence of signs having been made, as you asked on one of the emails that you sent to me. I've checked several times, and there's no signs in waiting or on the side for when the trucks come back. So that's not been handled. And of course, my concern is entry into the preserve from that location. So obviously, there's nothing in terms of construction vehicle in the way, preventing vehicles from getting on that road, or gates. But one thing that concerned me and I discovered this on Saturday. You can pass that around. That is a collection of Remington 223 loads for a AR-15 assault weapon.
Oh, that's okay.
And those happen to be parked, I mean, they were found where one of the Missouri plated utility vehicles was parked, and the shooting occurred. I'm just going to walk just so people will see. Looking down into the area where the beaver pond is, there's a slope down here. And this is the area right next to pole number 113.
That's the old fire pit area.
Yep. Yep. And happens to be, this is the area where long ago shooting occurred, target shooting.
Does it look like they were shooting at the beavers? Or just target shooting?
The shooting occurred from where the 113 pole is, and shooting it in a westerly direction.
Okay.
Anybody here?
I went down looking for targets, looking for an animal carcass or a beaver or whatever, and nothing was found on my part. But these rounds come from an AR-15 that was being shot in Horse Hill. So obviously, I have concerns about that.
Well, on Horse Hill or in the easement?
At that point, that is Horse Hill property
Yeah.
In Horse Hill?
because it's beyond, again, the old Kings Highway is the line where it goes from Eversource property to the right-of-way.
Yeah, this is within Loop Trail.
Oh, okay.
And it was right next to the 113 structure, which is the last one before you go down into the wetland area.
Yeah. Just a good picture.
Sure. So, again, my concern, being committed to the preserving of the preserve and also for the health and well-being of the people that go there, this concerns me. And I think, I don't have definitive proof that it was one of the subcontractors from the Missouri crew that did it.
But it was picked up on Horse Hill property.
It was on Horse Hill property within 15 feet of where the vehicle was parked. The only other possibility might have been the contracted person that they used for the snow plowing that saw an opportunity to have some target shooting. But essentially, being a high-powered rifle, this could have hit people that were on the trail, mountain biking, hiking. I don't think this was done at night, but it does concern me, and I think it should be something discussed with whoever is responsible for this subcontracting crew. So just in review, again, I will volunteer to take the ball because at this point I feel that it's been dropped. I feel it needs to be picked up, and the people at Eversource need to be aware of this, and we need to know what's going on. And again, one of the things I mentioned at that previous meeting was, what are the plans for the future? How are they going to address those poles, number 116, 117, which is, right between two bodies of water? I don't know how they're going to be able to do that without severely impacting the wetland area. The signage for the people that are going to be still using the loop trail and the Old Kings Highway, again, walkers, hikers, mountain bikers, and last but not least, we got to try to figure out a way that restriction of vehicles that don't belong there don't get in there. And I'm concerned about that once this project is over. And I think we need to start talking about it now because we want whatever's going to be decided to take effect immediately after that project is over. Any questions from anybody?
Appreciate your due diligence on this, on getting this information. It's very helpful.
Okay.
Now,
The meeting that we have for the Horse Hill Subcommittee is the 11th,
9th,
the 9th,
a week from tonight.
a week from tonight.
Yes.
Okay. If, Gage, if you want me to take over with getting in touch with Eversource, if you could let Cindy know.
yep. can do that.
I'll take it over from there. So let's use the week to decide on that on your part, and I'll wait to hear.
And I'll just note that in the correspondence that they had sent us previously from their environmental coordinator, they said that if the work was to extend into the active season, typically starting in April, we're in April, that Eversource would require daily turtle/snake sweeps prior to construction to relocate any species outside of the work areas. So I'm thinking that should start happening now, if, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna start seeing now, because I know we got snow today, but it's gotta be close to the end.
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely.
It's
But
gonna
I
be,
mean, they
it's
should have
supposed
somebody.
supposed to be 70 here in a couple days, and it's gonna go back in the 40s, but
Oh, wow.
We've already had spotted turtles, I mean, not spotted, painted turtles sunning themselves in the ponds.
Oh, wow.
So,
So they're out.
Well, the person that I met there on another
Loopers are
occasion
definitely out too.
is a Cassandra O'Brien from Normando Associates.
yeah.
And she was doing an evaluation. It happened to be after one of the snowstorms, and I walked with her a little bit, and I walked her to the point at Tower 113 so she could view the wetland area that is in the bottom of the hill, the area where she was also going to be inspecting some of the water flow down there. I've got to admit, on a side note, dealing with this, Cindy, it surprises the heck out of me that I remember there were plenty of wetland indicators prior to the work that was done when they did the whacking of all the brush under the power lines. And it was distinguished with tape that said wetland. You remember that, right, Lynn? Ironically, all that tape went away. And what's left, at least on the side from Natticook Road to the wetland just past that Tower 113, is just a small section, probably the length of
Suburban.
two of these tables right next to the unpaved road, and that's the only area that is of concern, and that surprises me. It really surprised me, considering all the markings that I've seen there in the past with the distinguishing tape that says wetland. What happened? So that's why I think we need better communication with Eversource, and if we don't stay on top of them, I feel like they'll walk over us. Thank you, everybody.
Lynn, you're gonna have to sign in.
You have to be close to a microphone.
Okay, Lynn Wenz, I've worked extensively with Fish and Game as well as Audubon, the wildlife guy that we've hired a couple of times, and documented that, so there's three endangered species right at the southern tip of Oka Pond, and Fish and Game had assured me that if the gas line had gone through, they would insist that the construction people would wait until winter, because then turtles and such would be under mud and so forth. And I mean, and this is right at the peak. Not only are they will be sunning themselves, but they'll be nesting also And there are turtles also that nest right by Long Pond too. And there's another, there's a rare plant that's located right behind the Powerline Farm, and it's an abandoned trail that goes down there. And so, I was thinking that if they are going to blast right through there, then maybe those could be, they're called sundials, and they're carnivorous little plants. And they need the perfect situation, for drainage and so forth. And I was thinking that maybe they could be transplanted to Ponema Bog where there were similar conditions. And so, yeah, I'm really interested in the time frame. Thank you.
I'll get with Matt, try again to get Matt tomorrow and see if we can get him to either show up and go over, with a schedule and what activities are going to be going on, but at least, certainly, this is the first we've heard about this, as we've, that's no hunting area, so that's a police enforcement,
It's a no target shooting area.
no target shooting, yeah, so that's a police enforcement issue, so.
Yeah, so along that lines, then, were pictures taken before you removed the casings?
The picture that I showed you has a bag.
Yeah.
That was the second visit.
Oh, you have to come, sorry. Thanks.
Not done yet.
I can send that picture to Cindy, and then she can distribute it to whoever you feel should have it. But that picture was actually taken this morning. My friend Bruce Peterson and I brought him to the area so he could help me do some searching to see if he could find, or we could find, anything other than the casings that I found on Saturday. So the picture that you see has some snow on the ground. That's from this morning. And we found more casings a little bit further from the spot where the vehicle was. But again, they were the same type.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll send that to you, Cindy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Don. Thanks, Lynn, for coming.
Lynn, do you have anything else to add?
Excuse me?
Do you have anything else to add? Well,
What do you think our chances are? What do you think our chances are here for
For what?
Like getting us-
trying to help the situation?
I'm not sure I really understand what you're...
Right, I'm not, yeah.
Getting them to stop and, not continue until winter? Stop working?
I can't speculate to what they're going to come back with.
Have we got a replacement yet for Jackie Flood as
No.
the liaison person?
No.
Because that would be helpful, I think.
I think it's probably not going to happen. I guarantee it's probably not going to happen until after the elections.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right.
So
That's the way it
there's
goes.
going to be quite a few other things that are a little higher priority to them.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I understand. Thank you.
okay. Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it.
Coming down. I want this. Printed that out. Can you-
Okay.
All right. We don't have any public hearings, appointments. You were all in receipt of an email from today
Thanks.
from Bruce Peterson. No, is it Bruce? Yeah, Bruce Peterson, looking to join Horse Hill. So that will be on the next agenda. Statutory new business, so we can go right into new business. We had a brief discussion regarding the proposed widening for the turnpike. I don't know if anyone had any other comments or questions about that. We decided we're going to leave it on here for a little bit.
Well, that was canceled, right? The meeting, because
The
it was
meeting
the same
was-
time, but I don't.
Yeah, the meeting was changed. I don't have the new date.
Okay, I don't either. I didn't know if anybody else did. I just saw it was
So-
I had
canceled.
it, it's in May.
It's in, yeah.
Oh, it's in May.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just
wow.
don't know it off the top of my head.
Oh, okay. So not till May. Thank you.
So do we want to postpone that item until after the meeting, or?
Yeah, I'd like to know more about it.
Is everyone going to the meeting? Is this, let's all show up, or is this,
It's a public meeting, so we can,
all right,
if we go, it's going to be,
whoever wants to go?
Right.
Okay.
next one, this B, discussions regarding use of metal detectors in conservation property. We had a email, someone showed up downstairs and asking about if they could go, they wanted to go in Greater Woods and metal detecting. And so similar to our approach for mapling on the properties, I told them, I said no. I said I'll discuss it with the Conservation Commission, but until further notice, no. And my plan of that, or my reasoning for that, was they had no idea where they're going to be. They were just going to go and metal detecting. And I'm like, okay, I don't want holes all over the place, in the middle of trails, in the middle of slopes, or whatever. And it's someone just out on their own, and we don't know what they're going to find. We don't have any kind of, there are, I don't know if there's any historical items out there, but it's an old parcel. There's old stone walls. We know there's an old brickyard out there. There's things out there that, if someone wants to do something like this, maybe even as a scout project or some kind of historical projects, and map out a grid, and this is what they're going to do, that would be very different to me. But this was just, yeah, I'm just going to go. So I said, no, I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to say yes to that. So.
By the same token, if we wanted to go and look for shell casings with a metal detector, would we be able to do that as a commission? Because a metal detector would be handy to find shell casings, to see who's shooting out there and where they're
Yes, it
shooting.
would, but you also wouldn't be digging for those.
Right.
So, I mean, you might, the top, dusting layers, but
Right.
this was,
They want to dig.
we're gonna go, explore and dig things up.
Right.
And so my first reaction was no. And I said, until we discuss it, that,
Well,
so,
I don't blame you, because like we have an old swamp, and we have an old 1722 cape, and they would come by and they would throw all of their non-burnable trash in the swamp. So some guy came by one time, he wanted to look in the swamp, he was looking for old glass. So my neighbor, who the swamp was on her property, said, sure, go ahead. He came out with a bunch of glass and he sold it. So if somebody's going to be on our property taking stuff and selling it, then that doesn't sound like leaving holes in our property.
yeah, this making money from it is one thing, and I don't, I don't know. I don't know what's out there. Maybe there could be vast riches out there. I don't know.
Probably
But
not.
I'm assuming, I'm more concerned about, holes, and then it rains, and it fills up with water, and then it's draining out, and now it's
Right.
washing down in the trails and into the stream beds and into the, water, and I was like, until we have a plan and you can show me, what you can do, how it's going to be gridded out, how it's going to be returned back to its natural conditions, I said no.
Okay.
So,
Good call.
we're all in agreement with that?
Yep, agreed.
Great. We'll leave that one alone then. Website maintenance.
So we've had a contract with Weatherby to do some upgrades. The photo gallery was part of that. Subcommittee web pages. She's working on project pages, like we had spoke way back, or at least a month or two ago, about having a page on projects that have been done and projects that need to be done, and a number of things. But that 1 year is over, and I don't. What's that?
Wow.
Yeah.
That was like 2 meetings ago.
Yeah. So we contracted for about 3.5 hours a quarter for work, so it was only 4 3.5-hour adventures. So it's not like a lot of hours, and therefore not a whole lot of money was spent, with some certain improvements to the property, to the website. So I had hoped by this point to have a draft of the follow-on contract. I don't have it. So I was gonna pass that out and just introduce the fact that our year's over. She does have more work to do, especially related to the project pages. She also looked into fundraising possibilities and things like that too, if you recall. But we now probably should be back under contract in order for work to continue. That way we have some structure to it and all that. And I just wanted to see if the commission had any concerns about trying to put together a follow-on contract, because if there was concerns, then I wouldn't waste her or my time putting it together. But I don't think it's a waste of time, considering we're not doing a whole lot of work there. So,
How much was it for a year again?
excuse me?
How much was it for 1 year?
So it was $260 a quarter.
Okay.
So that's what, $1,040?
Okay.
1040 on April. Wow.
Good going, Rain Man.
And we used all of that time?
Yes, we've used all that time. So
Okay. So could we entertain a motion to start up a new contract for, is it still $1,040?
so I've asked her to put together what she would like to see in the follow-on contract.
Okay.
And I just don't have it here.
Okay.
I was hoping to have a draft that I was going to hand out, have you all start looking at it, and at our next meeting we could vote on it.
Okay.
Do you think you'll have it before the next meeting?
I'm trying. So yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I can put it on the agenda. You can send it out.
Yep.
And we can.
I can do it that way too.
Okay.
But what I wanted to do was just to get a general heads up and down.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to try and do this one more year, kind of deal, which I figured we did. But I just figured before we went to all the formality of things that I would just double check. So.
That's
All right.
good.
And then along with that, we're going to have to be thinking about what are some of the other projects, because I'm starting to run out of ideas. So I think we're good for one more quarter, but after that, it's going to be like, what else would we like to see on our website? So you probably all noticed the ArcGIS stuff that she put in, and the other stuff, and the other help that went in too. So getting our maps in line and all our GIS maps, things are all available now too. She worked with Sarah and the NRPC to get that all coordinated and everything too. So
Well, at some point, we need to put Fields Farm and Sklar on there, so.
need to put,
Fields Farm and Sklar.
yeah, we need to add more to the website once we have decided how we're going to manage them and stuff. We have a Fields Farm page, but very little on it. So,
Okay.
so
All right. It's a good point. We could. Not that the Scholars property is really a lot different from Fields Farm yet now, but it'd be just a coming soon.
Yeah.
yeah,
Just so there's a change,
yeah.
Well, it would also be nice to have some before and after pictures, so we could start taking some before pictures now.
What are some of the good ones?
Hmm?
Piles of TVs. Some of the good ones with piles of TVs.
Stuff trucks.
All those shells.
I can literally spend a whole evening showing you all the trash pictures of the Horse Hill before we started cleaning that up.
Yeah.
Literally, I could spend a whole evening just showing you pictures, because we ran multiple cleanup events and everything out there. So, never mind all the cars that we documented in Newton, the snowmobiles, the snowbuds cleaned up and cut up and took out. So,
There's still two in there.
yeah, there are.
They're left for memorial purposes, though.
Well, a couple of them with all this activity might get crushed a little bit more too. So, there's a couple along the power lines that are, if you don't know where they are, they're a little hard to see now because they're kind of like this tall now.
Yeah. There's one that's just a floor.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. But,
All right.
but yeah. All right. So I will continue with that, and we'll see where we get. So
The calendar. Who's doing the calendar again?
we maintain the calendar.
Okay.
Oh, our calendar.
Yeah, our calendar.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send an email.
These two maintain the calendar.
Okay. I'll send an email.
Yeah, these
You
meetings.
want to
Are,
add something?
well, like these meetings.
Oh, these.
we expired. We're not on the calendar
I
anymore.
don't think they're on there anymore.
Oh, I thought ours were on there. I thought I just hadn't added.
The greater dates are wrong. and there are no horse hill dates, so
Yeah.
I'll send an email.
Okay.
So I should send an email for Wildcat then?
Yeah, send
Yes.
it to me and I'll get them
Okay.
up there. Yeah. And I'll get
Thank you.
these dates on there because I know. I don't even have them in my phone yet. I'm in my calendar. I'm like,
Well, that's the thing, that's the whole thing, is if you can subscribe to the calendar on our website.
right,
So
download
if
everything.
any change we do, it will automatically show up
Right.
on whatever calendar you use for your
Right.
daily planning.
I know. I think I figured out last year how to upload everything from Excel, but I
Yeah, I have
spaced me this year. So
I have the template, but you can set them up when they're reoccurring. They set up fairly easily because you can set them up once and say start, end, and then you can go into the series and just delete like the one or two that we don't
Yeah,
have. You just
'cause it's-
delete that
yeah,
one and not the whole
sometimes
series.
it's
So,
okay. Yeah, thank you.
but we can figure that out.
Yes. Thanks, Matt. No, sorry.
So he's trying to push the brush off.
Yeah, no.
All right, so Mike is obviously not here. He's not feeling well, but he's looking for a June 2nd for the Scalar Park, cleanup day for the Scalar Park. He's been in contact with the folks at AB, and they're trying to set up for June 2nd. So he just wanted to make sure that was good for everybody else.
Is that a Saturday or Sunday?
I'll tell you in a moment.
It's a Saturday.
Okay.
We're on fire tonight.
Right.
June 2nd is, yeah, imagine that. Tim's right.
Doesn't happen often.
Oh,
But yeah, June 2nd is a Saturday.
Okay. Got it.
So we can put that as a tentative date on the schedule too.
okay.
And then we'll add more as we go.
Yeah, we probably should get a hold of Public Works and see if he'll support it.
Yeah, so that's Mike's gonna,
Yeah.
as long as we're okay with it, he's gonna go forward with it and start trying to coordinate that. So as long as we're good with that. So is there any other comments, question about that? No, we're good? All right. I sent an email out the other day, or Sharon did, to, you guys should all gotten a copy of the thing from Home Depot. And this was not what I had in mind.
Okay, I thought it was kind of light on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was expecting a real plan as to, how they're going to, how they're going to take care of snow removal, and also what I thought we stressed to Renee a bit was that we would like to monitor those wells.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, they called with the corporate office and they don't monitor them at all. So I think they're just there. So we're gonna, one of two things. They're gonna have to change the plan itself, just so at least they can put the lumber outside. They have to change the plan, and it has to go before the planning board. I'm assuming that this is on the plan also, and thus would have to be, regulated and go before the planning board. So I'm assuming that we're going to have to outline it a little bit more to what we're looking for, and then send it back to her and say, this is the kind of things that we need to see so it can go on the plan and be approved.
Makes sense.
So I guess then that means we need to have some idea of what we want on the plan. Like well monitoring.
So curious, what's more, 10 tons of salt or 40 yards of sand? It would be nice if they spoke the same language. It's like saying, 2/4 versus a half. It'd be nice if they either did it in tons or yards, not both, because you can't really visualize what's more.
Yeah, those are typical units of measure for both.
Okay.
So
But it's not consistent measures, though.
it's not. Yeah, it's a. I would.
One is volume and
Yeah.
one is weight.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see. I mean, is 10 tons of salt more than 40 yards of sand? Because I thought that we didn't want a lot of salt in there. We just wanted a little bit of salt too.
What's the thing? 40 yards of sand is a lot,
Okay.
but
And it's very heavy. So.
Yeah.
and it's very so. But you're right. I mean, to someone who doesn't use this all the time, those are units of measure that don't
Apples and
visualize well.
oranges.
In the storage of it as well.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're going to have 10 tons of salt in a bin that, drains where, And
Yep.
you know, what is it covered? Is it? Yeah, there's, like you said, that this needs
Yeah,
a lot more.
Yeah, I was looking for a lot more of a real plan. Because even then, they're going to put all this salt on concrete, which isn't going to last very long. You'll eat the concrete right up. So this is a little light. So I don't know. We can do, I guess, one or two things. As I'll call them back and tell them we would like a plan with a lot more plan to it, or we have to start feeding them what we need for requirements.
Yeah, I would suspect we have to give them requirements. It'd be nice to say, here, take a look at this set of plans, so maybe Robert can find an example.
Okay.
But the well monitoring part is where we're going to run into issues, because we're going to have to specify what period of monitoring has to happen, what things we want looked for, what is the base condition, and where are we now.
Well, it's the same thing where they haven't been putting down sand and salt. Right now, to me, would
So
be,
are we just monitoring for sodium, or are we monitoring for other things?
I would think we're going to monitor for whatever de-icing chemicals they're using.
Yeah, okay,
Because if we start saying we're going to monitor for contaminants,
right.
that's
Yeah, they won't do it,
no.
because that just leaves them wide open for liabilities. Yep.
I mean, fertilizers and two things, but even then you can't really say that either. So
No,
A lot of stuff.
no, I think. But it'd be interesting to see, what other lumber yards, if there's any site plans that show a salt storage shed. Certainly on their plans, we'd want to see what the grade is for where they're putting this thing. If it's on the side of a hill, which way does the water run when it rains, like it always does at some point in the winter?
Yep.
Where's all that salt going to run? The excess salt is probably a better way to put it, because once it forms a water solution, it can go a long way.
Well, yeah, because all you have to do is look at a Google map to look down, and you can see how all the water is connected, all the way down to Pennachuck. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's all phew,
Yep.
brooks and stuff. Is 101A in that area a no salt zone?
I don't believe the road itself is a no salt zone. So,
there's that section right there, and right around the spa right there. I believe is a low salt usage, a low spread usage, or something like that.
yeah, so along Continental Boulevard, there's no salt areas,
Yep.
but not in that section of 101A.
Oh.
Milford Road, or whatever it's called.
I would think whatever they're doing on that section of Milford Road in front of PC Connection would be similar to what they're going to have to do up around Home Depot. Would that make sense?
What?
Because the water.
Well, that's why they're not allowed to put pressure treated lumber outside or use
Right.
salt,
Right.
because they're way up in the hill and it runs right down.
But
Yeah.
it
And
runs
the-
into the
Stormwater
stormwater system, which runs under the road,
Yeah.
runs along PC Connection, and ends up out in the aquifer.
Right. So I guess my thing would be if you basically said to the town, not said to the town, but I don't know. I guess you guys have already done that, so I'm just babbling.
Okay, I'll get with Robert tomorrow, see if we can get some more information and get some more examples, and we can get it back to them, so they know what we're looking for. Subcommittee updates. I don't think we have any. Sorry about that.
I canceled your meeting for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Cancel the meeting? The Horse Hill? Not Horse Hill,
Greater Woods.
No, there's,
Just not enough people.
That was the night of the deliberative session
Yeah.
for the water.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
And Nat was moderating.
okay.
we didn't have enough folks.
There's a Wildcat Falls meeting on April 10th at 6:30 right here in the Memorial Conference Room. And I'm not sure if, we never did get that 1 cubic yard of gravel put in by the picnic bench, did we?
So no, because we had a nor'easter coming. So I said,
Yes.
why don't we just hold off until we have no snow?
Do we want to
So is it-
think about that now?
Yeah. How's the parking lot looking? Because they.
I'll check, I mean,
Yeah,
I can go
because
check.
I said something to DPW and they were like, oh, okay, well, we'll put it on the
I'll ask
list.
them at the meeting, and then we'll
but-
bring it up at the next meeting.
Then we got, 2 more snowstorms, so it wasn't really.
Okay, I'll ask at the meeting on the 10th.
Did you find the rabid woodchuck?
No, I was gonna bring that up too.
What?
It's, the last I saw on Facebook was that someone was out with their dog and they came across some, very dark furry thing that was very sluggish. And the dog sniffed it and it didn't really move much. So I'm thinking that whatever it was that was rabid might have passed. The police were aware of it, they were out looking for it, so
Why did they think he was rabid?
I'm not sure. They just
Oh.
said that it appeared to be acting sick. But from judging from what they were talking about with the size of it, it was, like the size of a medium-sized dog. So I don't know if woodchucks get that big.
oh yeah.
Do they?
Can get big.
But animals get old and die
Yeah.
for various reasons, not necessarily just being,
Yeah.
rabid. Could have been attacked or,
Could have been old.
yeah, it could have been old.
Poor thing.
I'm just curious why they would assume that it was a rabid animal.
I don't know.
I was very curious too. That's why I asked. I figured you might have had more data.
Well, all I know is what was being talked about on the Liz Petridis had posted something on her Facebook page, posted on Merrimack Outdoors. So when I go to the meeting, I'll ask about that too. But even if it was rabid, my guess is it would have passed. It's been 3 or 4 days, so because once they get sluggish to the sluggish stage of being rabid, then I don't think they live much longer, do they? I've never seen anything except for on To Kill a Mockingbird. As close to rabies as I've seen. As close as I want to see.
All right, and you have a meeting coming up.
Yeah, yep, just to reiterate, a week from tonight, April 9th at 7 o'clock is the Horse Hill Subcommittee meeting in the Matthew Thornton Room, which is right where the town council normally meets, if anyone's interested in coming. And should we talk about maps?
Sure.
Are we not going to get any more? Or?
We ordered, what, it was 500 each, I think, right?
I don't recall how
I
many.
think it was 500 of each, or 1,000 of each. Maybe it was 1,000 of each. So I've got like 4 boxes left, and
Beach.
they've each got 500 in them. So I think it was probably 1,000 of each.
Well, but Horse Hill's, in my opinion,
If you put them all
the
out,
most established.
if you put them all out, they're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you ever gone to a trade show? Tables with the most stuff, people go over and swamp it. There's only a couple
Yeah.
things. People are a little more gingerly taking stuff.
I mean, we did put up the sign that you made. I mean, Amherst Road is the main. That's the one that goes quickly. But
I see the sign is back. It looks good. It looks nice. The Horse
Oh.
Hill sign was removed for a while.
the other one in the Old Kings Highway was gone too. I noticed. But I wish they would tell us before they just take them. Because then people notice they're gone, and then I think Newt contacted someone and found out, they're being worked
Yeah,
on.
I did the same thing.
Oh,
the
for a
Corey
greater
one was missing. I called Matt Kasparius.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, I'll call the police and report it missing. And they're like, well, I better call Lori first.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're cleaning it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just be nice. A heads up. So.
Yeah.
But.
We can order more. It's going to be, they're going to be more expensive because it's going to be less bulk.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd have to get a quote for individual order.
Right.
We should have like they do at Aldi. You put a quarter in, you return your map, you get your quarter back.
Start charging a quarter per map. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Become a profit center.
Yeah.
Put it in a little
Well, no, you get
box.
it back when you if you to return the map.
Yeah. Return the map,
How,
you get
how
your quarter
often do
back.
people return the map?
Yeah, I know, right?
We'll make some money.
Yeah.
Charge a quarter a map.
Right.
This is why I don't shop at Aldi, because I can't handle the quarter thing with the cart.
I almost think
Why? I love that.
putting a second map box like on the post that you almost bump into as you're leaving,
Oh, for returning, you
and
mean?
putting like return map here, and then people
idea.
would be like, oh, you know, because
Yeah.
it would your attention is not drawn to when you're leaving, looking back at the kiosk,
Right.
Well,
you know, because when you're leaving, you're just leaving.
Right.
You're not looking. But if it was right there, that would be a nice.
well, you could also put a sign as you're going out, like, you know, on the thing that said be green, you know, you put your map back in the kiosk.
Yeah, maybe if we took the sign that you made and put it like on the back of the kiosk,
I can
like,
make another one.
Oh, so
Or
you
on that-
see
or just
if
on
you
that
could
post.
see it. Oh, right.
Because the people that go there probably aren't grabbing a map. People that go there regularly aren't grabbing a map.
Right.
But I can guarantee you, people go, "Oh, this was nice." They took one, and they never bothered. And they went back a second time. It's like, "Oh, I forgot. Oh, let's take another one."
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, you're down to whatever that is. Stack is, you know, 250 or whatever it is, or 100 or whatever that is. So,
So we need to get more.
right. So we need to. I don't know how much they were individually. I mean, it was $800 and something for the whole. $900 for the whole thing. We do have a line item in the budget for town in our budget, you know, for map reprinting. So this would be come out of our funds.
Now, I can check and see when I have the Wildcat Falls meeting, what they have left, because I gave them all to Liz and Karen, so.
Oh, I got more Wildcat Falls.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, well, you can have them all if you want. I just have a stack of all the maps,
Sure.
and
I can just keep them at my house if you don't want to have them.
it doesn't. It's not like they're really impacting me. They're in one spot, so I can
Okay,
keep track of when we need to order them. But
okay.
was that August? We got them September.
Yeah, it's got to be.
yeah, it
Can't
was.
remember.
It was sometime around then.
We're still warm.
Summer. Yeah.
We're still warm. So
I don't think it's a bad thing that with the amount of traffic that goes through
no,
that
I
parking lot.
don't.
Because now that I live a lot closer to it, I have a new, even more appreciation for what goes on out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is very full a lot of the time. And you can see the people on the poop loop all the time.
Oh, that's right. The poop loop.
So we should put a big sign up that says, Tim Tenhafe sees you.
Yeah.
Poop
Well,
Sees what you are
well,
doing.
it's against town code to leave your dog waste behind.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll
It's
put your
punishable
face
by
there.
up
It
to
says,
a-
Tim sees you.
No.
Tim sees you target shooting. Tim sees you not picking up after your dog.
That's it. Put it all over the place. Just put a little sign with a little bit of eyes coming over the top. It says Tim sees you. make that a thing we put out on all our properties.
We
Tim
will
sees
do
you.
that. Tim sees you.
That's it. Don't say who Tim is. Just say Tim sees you.
I like it.
You'll get all kinds of posts on your Facebook pages.
That's right.
Where did we see this sign?
I like that. That's good.
I think we should do
Make it like
that.
the old Mr. Magoo video so you can see the big eyes.
Yeah, that's right. I know.
Oh my gosh, that would be great.
Your kids will be like, I'm glad he's watching someone else now instead of watching us now all the time, right? Keeping an eye on them.
Yeah, we need to make that a campaign for 2018.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tim sees you.
Yeah, I know. That's good.
Sorry.
So that's right. So how many maps do we want?
1,000.
1,000. Okay. And I'll have to get a quote.
See what the price
Yeah.
break is.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Mhm.
Yep, folded too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they do.
So we don't want to do that. We don't want to cut and fold them.
No.
It's going to stick in my head all night now.
Tim sees you.
It'd be fun when you do it all over town.
Yeah, I know.
I can see it.
People would be like, let's go to Merrimack and see if we can see Tim.
Yeah, that's
Who
right.
is this Tim?
Yeah, it would be the infamous Tim.
We'll get their ice cream at King Kong. They turn around in the parking lot. Tim sees you.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, when's the next Greater Woods meeting? Do we know?
2 months.
Okay.
You want the date?
No, that's all right. Cindy's gonna put it on the calendar.
Yeah.
I already forwarded all of the. I
Yeah.
forwarded
Oh.
the schedules of Forso, Greater Woods, and Wildcat.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
lucky if you already got 3
Oh,
new
nice.
messages now.
Okay. You got 3 messages? I only have 1.
Update your phone. All right. Do we want to go in the minutes? March 19th minutes?
Can we, I'll
Oh,
talk
what?
about this after.
No. What?
The ARM grant,
Oh,
Oh,
I did
I'm
get 'em,
sorry,
it just
yeah.
didn't show up.
yeah.
Was it-
Because it never
oh,
didn't
we
make
didn't-
it
we
onto
didn't
the,
Show up as 3.
didn't
Well, that
make
was,
it on
yeah,
the-
that was supposed to be on there. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
That should
I'm not
be-
gonna say too much about it because Mike's not here, and it's kinda like the 2 of us are working on it together. He's hoping he
okay.
feels better, and we're gonna try to meet on Thursday. So what we did was we met shortly after the meeting, and we went online, and we got the grant application instructions, and we went through, and we determined what are they looking for the proposal. Oh, I did it. So they're looking for brief description of the project, a general description of the aquatic resources to be restored, replaced, or protected, how the project will be carried out, the draft budget of total project costs, and we're allowed to have no more than 2 attached maps or exhibits can be included with the proposal. So we were very fortunate that Dawn, I'm going to say this wrong, Tumala, did I say that right?
Twalumba? I'm not sure. I'm going to say it right.
Don T.
Dawn.
Don T.
Don T.
Don T.
Don T was there. However, Don T is, her daughter is expecting baby, actually twins. I believe.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
And she said she is not sure when, but when that happens, she will be not available. So she is going to get us some budget information, and she gave us, where did I put it? She gave us the,
Flash.
you all have a little, yep,
Oh,
you all
she-
have a little thumb drive. This has the big map on it. It's like 2 pages of map stuff, which is what will be attached. And what I passed out to you, the handout that I passed out to you, is the answers that Mike and I came up with in a very, very rough draft. So what I would ask, again, Mike and I were thinking about meeting again on Thursday if he's feeling well. So if you guys can take a look at this and email me any changes that you have before Thursday. I know that's kind of cutting it close. The problem is this has to be to them by the 30th, April 30th, by 4 o'clock. So I did tell Dawn that whatever, she's going to give us, we need it by then. And when I asked for the budget, it's not as simple as saying, it's going to cost X number of dollars.
Right.
We need a breakdown.
Itemized budget.
Yes,
Yeah.
we need an itemized budget. Yeah, and I feel bad to have to put so much, of the burden on her, but a lot of this information is stuff that
Unfortunately, yeah, she needs to, yeah.
has, yes. And she does seem to have, she had the maps right there, so she was able to do that very quickly.
So
So-
we need to get you all of our updates by this Thursday.
If you can get
The
them to
5th?
me, well, Mike's gonna come back with some changes too. He
Yep.
said he had some changes, but he just couldn't make it to today's meeting. So, again, this is very, very rough, so if you have anything that you wanna see changed on it, just shoot me an email, and I'll bring all the changes, and Mike and I will meet, and then I'll have a better draft for you at the next meeting.
Well, I guess that's what I'm getting at. We're talking about it openly, so everyone knows we're going to be doing this too. So if individually we can send you updates to this, if you can send out and this next meeting is the 16th.
Right.
So we should have all of our comments back and forth
Right.
corrected, and that should, so the draft that's on the 16th should be pretty close to a final,
And
because you're gonna have a hard time trying to gather that last bit and get it together and send it out. So I mean, you have, 9 days.
right. I mean, and
10
if you
days.
want, I can bring my laptop in and we can work on it at the meeting, but that's gonna be, that's gonna be taking time out of our meeting, so
Oh.
it's up to you guys.
We've got 2 weeks. I think we should be able to hopefully get,
Yeah, whatever changes I make, I'll send out to you, and then you can continue to send me changes.
Yep.
And I'll just keep sending I'll just keep up, every time I update it, there's a date down at the bottom. So every update that I send you will have the new updated date. And if I need to, I'll timestamp them too, so.
Okay.
So everything that you have, you'll be able to see what the most current the most recent draft is. So it doesn't get confusing.
Okay.
So my busy schedule ends this week,
Oh, good, okay.
so I'll have time, but I'm not sure by Thursday I'll have you input, but
That's
I
okay.
certainly have time on Friday to provide input.
Are you planning on going into town hall this Friday?
Into,
I know you were talking about going in at some point.
No, but I can on Friday.
Okay. Because I could always ask Mike if you wanted to wait and go
Yeah,
on Friday.
If
But do you have enough time though? Because
Yeah,
I know.
no, I do. Yeah, if
Okay.
we could do it, sometime late morning, or I don't know what time you were planning on meeting, but
Okay, let me ask him, because my guess is he probably would rather, have as much time as he can.
Yep.
So Friday. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. And Mike too, and
So-
if he's watching. Thank you, Mike, for getting this done.
oh,
Yeah.
may I add one more thing?
Yeah,
If
please.
you get time, so the Red Maple Trail project was done as a mitigation project for the Manchester Street Bridge project that the town did. Actually, the town and the city of Nashville got together and they replaced Manchester Street Bridge.
Yes.
You know what bridge I'm talking about?
Manchester Street, isn't that like down in Nashua?
Yeah, that's the one that goes behind Brookdale's and goes
Brookside.
Brookside. No,
Wait, are you talking about the one that if you take
Manchester
Tinker
Street
Road, it turns into Manchester Street? Are you
Yeah.
talking about if you take a left there?
Manchester Street comes out where DCU used to be, next to BAE Systems.
Yeah,
Okay, so that road, that's Manchester Street, that goes all the way into Nashua.
yes.
It crosses Manchester Street Bridge, where Pennachuck has all their water and all
Right.
that stuff, right? When that bridge was replaced a few years ago,
Right.
the wetlands mitigation that the town did for their portion of that project was the Red Maple Trail.
Okay, I did look for that.
So, since it was done as part of a town project, Kyle Fox might have all the data, because he had to do the application to Lori Summer at DES to get that project approved.
That might be why I couldn't find it, because I looked through every drawer, and
No, it's
I looked
Kyle.
at
Kyle
every-
did it.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Kyle at the time was the town engineer, or maybe he was just assuming his new responsibility, so.
Okay.
So he probably has the data on the costs and everything for that project, because he had to show that the project met certain dollar milestones. Okay?
So will it be called, if I say Red Maple Trail and he gives me a blank look, I should say the Manchester Street Bridge?
The
If he gives you a blank look, tell him to go historic rocks. He'll start to quiver.
Oh.
And then he'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Historic rocks. I have no idea what you're saying, but.
Oh,
okay.
you don't, the abutments and the
Is that the
bridge?
big rock that's out there?
Well, no, he's talking about at the bridge. The bridge abutments became a big deal, and they had to do special activities around
Okay.
it. because
They're
they were-
historic rocks.
Yeah.
Because all the normal rocks you find around aren't old. Making new ones, apparently.
Okay.
So no, he'll know when you tell him it's the Manchester Street Bridge wetland mitigation project we did in Greater Woods. He'll know exactly what it is.
Okay, because I did find a file for the Red Maple Trail, but it wasn't
Yeah.
what I was looking for. There
Yeah.
was nothing in there for that.
He probably has the details that we need.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll call him tomorrow.
Because it'd be nice to see the application, because
It
we
would
might
be.
be able to pull some of those words.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
Big star on that one. Okay.
I'm sorry. I was just sitting here, and all of a sudden I said, "Oh, that's
is
how we
good.
can find."
Yeah, because I went through the files for about 45 minutes, couldn't find anything. Then the next day before I met Mike, I went like another 15 minutes, and I still couldn't find it.
Check at home in my file for that project, because I might have it too.
Okay.
I might.
Okay. Don't
I,
go
I
nuts.
purged a lot when I moved, so I might not have it anymore.
Yeah, I'll ask Kyle. We'll see. Okay. Minutes?
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Want to do minutes?
Minutes.
Did everyone have a chance to review? Everyone have a chance to review them?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh,
Motion to approve the March 19th, 2018 minutes with changes.
Second?
okay, so Cindy makes a motion.
I didn't have
Tim seconds it.
many. Do what?
Go.
Oh. I only had page 3 on row 32. Add the word that after added. So it does. So it says, however, added that the fund has been used. Either that or just take out the word added.
Which way do you want?
Add that.
Add that.
Add that. Okay.
And actually, on row 21, it says the area of wet is the only emergency access. Is that how you normally say that? Oh, it is. Okay. Yep, that's all I had.
Okay.
Gina?
I am embarrassed to admit this, but on page 1, line 51, Krispy Kreme is not spelled correctly. Krispy Kreme has a K.
Okay.
Krispy,
Oh.
Krispy.
And cream, Kreme.
That's right. They're
Thank
both
you.
K's. Yeah.
I don't know anything
Kreme.
about Krispy Kreme, though.
Oh.
Is snowshoe one word or two?
I've always seen it as one.
I think it's one.
Snowshoeing has always been one word.
Okay, so on
So-
page 2, line 38, snowshoe should be one word. On page 4, line 40, that was discussed, comma, the state indicated it was not interested in a donation.
Sketch.
And that is all that I have.
That's it. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Passes 5-0-0. Outstanding. No more public comment. Commissioner comments. Cindy. Matt.
People be aware that it is. Everybody should be aware that it is currently mud season. So tread lightly on the trails if you're leaving a mark. Don't.
Turn around slowly and back out.
Yeah, and
Tim is
when you
watching.
Yeah.
Tim's watching, yes. When you come to an area that's a big mud puddle, don't walk around it, because what that does is makes the area of impact larger.
Yep.
So if you're going to be out there, walk directly through the middle of it. But our preference is turn around and don't. But I've seen areas where people are just going off in the woods to get around it, and then what you're doing is trampling all the growth in that area and growing the depression outward. So that's not the right way to do it.
I know everyone wants to be outside this time of year, but it's challenging.
There's plenty of places that are dry. Just go there.
Pete did put something on Facebook about that.
Yes. Or, if you're going to Greater Woods, the Woods Road, that's, this time of year, that's still solid.
Yep.
Just walk that trail.
Tim?
So since our last meeting, I met with the town council in regards to the Chapter 111 proposal for changing it. I gave a brief description of what the process would be. Before we get too far into it, I think, well, there was a general consensus, I believe, by the council that we were going in the right direction with the process. I did more than once stipulate that less is more, that we're not looking to add a whole bunch of new regulations to properties, but we're trying to characterize, create a few categories of properties and group them and take care of it. But before the council would okay the process, the town manager had said that she would like to have a meeting with me and her department heads to go over the process and make sure that they can all commit to the timelines and suggested timelines that are in that process, as well as have a general discussion about the properties that are involved. So since that meeting, at the meeting I made an offer for a time for us to get together. I reiterated that offer in an email. I've provided some other times in an email. I have not heard back as to what's going to work for the town manager and her department heads.
Oh, so it's not going to be Friday.
Excuse me?
That's why I thought you'd be there on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now there is no meeting scheduled. The town council asked, I believe, for May 10th for an update or on the process in order to give a fixed period for the town manager and the department heads to meet with me. I will keep trying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. Appreciate it.
I'll let you all know too if you're interested, but I figured you would be, and I figured I'd let you know. But yeah, so that's where we're at. So one other thing on that note, Paul McCallie did give me a list of properties that he thought were Merrimack properties, including ones that the assessor believed were conservation properties. I have that in an Excel spreadsheet. It has a little bit more information than what we've gotten out of the assessing database at this point. Lists a lot of sale dates and book and page numbers for what was in the assessing database, which doesn't easily download out when you do a Excel export. So I have some more data, but I didn't want to act on that list because I wanted to make sure that the town manager and her department heads were agreeable to the process, because until they're committed to helping us do this, I'm not spending a lot of my time. So
They did give us a list before. Is it different than that one?
I didn't compare the
Didn't
two.
compare?
The rough numbers or lines in the spreadsheet are pretty close.
Okay. Because
So-
we talked, I thought you were on that email string too, as we talked about that for a while. I was like, look, we'd have to add either use some notes fields or something in there, because they're just parcel names, and we don't know them by their parcel names. We know them by, like, that's part of Greater Woods, it's part of Horse Hill. So we're like, these individual parcels, it'd be great to be able to sort them by where they're used, what property they're used under. And that was met with some resistance. So that's something, if we're going to talk to them, that would be a great.
Yeah.
You know who might be able to assist us with that? Is NRPC.
Yep.
So NRPC gets all their data from our own assessing database. They do a dump.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I wonder if they have
I'm not worried about getting the list. I want the commitment to
Yep.
evaluating the parcels that we
Right.
believe are appropriate, the uses that we believe are appropriate. There's going to have to be a number of properties we're going to have to get their deeds, because in the deeds are restrictions or not. We'll need easement information, which has to be pulled, and that just takes time, and it takes people with the right tools to go ahead and do it. And the town has all that, so I think the list is a minor thing.
Yeah, there's a list, actually. You request it. We got it pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually get it. Well, you could get it off the old assessing site. I haven't tried on the new one. You could actually do an export in Excel based on property owner. So, and I just put Merrimack in for owner, and you get Merrimack Village District, Merrimack School District, anything that had Merrimack in it, and then you could weed it out yourselves, or you can be more specific. So it's easy to pull a list. So it's what happens after that. So
Okay.
so we'll see.
Good.
I'll keep
Thank you.
after it, but until we have commitment, I'm not spending a lot of my time, because I don't want to get so far down the road and then not be able to get anywhere, so,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Okay.
All set.
Yeah, okay. I sent an email out to you guys today. Tim Thompson had a request from an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Matt Kasparius and I were, the three of us were on an email, so, he's got a couple projects already in the books. We have a couple already in the books, but, do we have any other projects that are,
We always have bridges, don't we?
well, we always bridges, but I was,
It'd be nice to see the fitness trail in
Yeah.
Wasserman
Yeah,
get
that's
upgraded.
exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
it's good, because I
Perfect.
said that to Matt. I said, yeah, what would be a great idea? And it would kind of, it benefits both us and Parks and Rec, and so I told him, I said, we'd talk about it tonight, and whatever ideas we'd have, I'd be in touch with him in the morning, so. I like the fitness trail, because it was made by a scout, and I was
Yeah.
like, that'd be great if we could get a group or a pack, or
Right.
just in general, and say, look, this is something that needs to be kept up by a scout troop.
Yeah, It'd be great 25 years later to get it upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, well,
Whatever it
I
was, yeah.
will forward that information on to him. Yeah, that's it.
Motion to adjourn?
Wow.
Second?
City makes a motion, Masley second. All those in favor? All right, passes 5-0-0 at
You didn't have any other
7:50
commissioner comments?
7:51.
You were just